Hello everyone, this is Benny Hills back with a modern video, and today we are playing Sultai Midrange. So I was thinking about making a Jund video, and I didn't for two reasons. First of all, Ren and 6 and Season Pyromancer are very expensive, and I don't have them yet, and I do have a lot of these cards. And secondly, I actually just think this deck might be better. So yes, losing Ren and 6 hurts, that card is great, but I do think Uro is just one of the best cards in Modern when you have a deck that can support it well. And the shell of a bunch of fetch lands, a bunch of cheap interactive spells, and Thought Scour is really good at fueling this card. So I think this is a really powerful Uro shell, very disruptive, some solid threats, some graveyard interaction. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I think it could be a really strong deck. So this is the main deck. It has a bunch of discards, some fatal pushes. It's a bit light on removal spells because we're sort of relying on Snapcaster Mage to function as additional removal spells. So after Fatal Push, we have 2 Drown in the Lock, 2 Assassin's Trophy, and that's it. We have a Planeswalker suite of Liliana and Jace the Mind Sculptor. And yeah, so that's the main deck. I think it's pretty sweet. As for the sideboard, I don't really know exactly what to be playing, but we have a couple different counter spells, some board sweepers for the small creature decks, a lot of land hate. Between 3 Fulminator Mage, 3 Ashiok, also 2 Ceremonious Rejection for Tron, so a lot of that. And also a solid amount of graveyard hate with Spell Bombs, Ashiok, and then the main deck oozes. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I have not played with it yet, but I think it has a lot of potential. So without further ado, we'll hop right on into round 1. All right, here we are for round 1. Luckily, we are on the play against Tarasque 1. And we have a solid hand. We'll keep this. Kahira the Orphan Guard. Okay, so this is likely a control deck, which means I'm okay with just fetch shocking. So I think we're just going to grab a Watery Grave here with a Polluted Delta, given that we have a forest in hand. I'm playing, in terms of fetchable lands, I'm playing 2 of each Shockland, 1 of each basic, but 2 Snow-Covered Swamps, and then 1 Triome. We'll see how the Triome goes. I could imagine that being weak, but I think it's a fine one, especially in a fairly land-heavy deck. Ooh, we're playing against Spirit. Wait, oh, what? Elemental Tribal. Okay. Well, I think this card is probably the scariest card. Wait, it chooses something in your graveyard and you return it to the battlefield. Yeah, I think we're going to take this card. Not really sure what they'll get with this, but I guess we could just take the Harbinger, but then Drown in the Lock can't hit the Awakener. Yeah, I think we're just going to hit Awakener here. Just seems like the best card. I don't really know what my opponent's doing over there, though. That's interesting. This is not an Elemental. So they play Cavern of Souls and Harbinger. Oh, Vile. Okay. So I think we're just going to go Forest Goyf here. Ooh, we could hit them with another discard spell. Let's see. That's pretty close. I think it is worth it, though. I mean, I guess getting a Goyf down is decent. And also, if we draw a land, the next turn we can go Uro plus Thoughtseize. But they also could just empty their hand. I think we're just going to go for Thoughtseize this turn. And then fetch up the Triome with this. So I think we'll just take the Mariner. And yeah, they can cast this, and then we'll Drown in the Lock whatever they get, hopefully. So this grabs Triumph. The next turn we can play either Uro or Goyf. So there's the Ziggurat that we knew about. They just pass. Yep. Alright, so Triumph here is proving to be sort of nice. I mean, we'll see. We might not end up really needing it, but we'll see. I think I'm just going to cast a Goyf here. Hold up Fatal Push. If we had a land to put it in play with Uro, that would be one thing, but we don't. So we'll see what they get with this. I can imagine them just getting another Thunderkin Awakener. Risen Reef. Okay, well, that could be a bit annoying. I mean, yeah, we need to find... Oh, well, yeah, Uro will leave the battlefield, so that can trigger Revolt, but we do need a way to deal with this Risen Reef. Alright, so there's the Reef. Let's see what they reveal. Wait. What? Oh, look at the top card. Okay, never mind. So we don't get to see it. Well, we'll just untap. Hope to draw a land so we can go Uro Fatal Push. Okay. So, let's see. There is a creature in the graveyard. There's not an instant yet, though, so doing this pre-combat will be good, I think. So we'll cast this to trigger Revolt. Put the Swamp into play. It is a bit annoying that this doesn't cast Uro. Okay. That... I think next... We'll just put this into play this turn. Actually, wait. No, we're just playing both. Yep. So this is pretty solid. And then we'll attack. I think we're going to go for an upkeep Fatal Push on the Risen Reef. I mean, we could get in for one more damage now. I guess that probably is worth it, actually. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kill this now. So they take 4. And now next turn we can escape Uro, and if we draw a land, we can hold up Drown in the Lock, which is, at this point, should be able to kill or counter pretty much anything. I mean, actually, it can't counter because of Cavern of Souls, but... I think we don't need to worry about cards in graveyard being the limiting factor at this point. Okay, they crack the canyon. So we don't know any of their cards. They cannot use Ancient Ziggurat to put Kahira into their hand, which isn't, I mean, probably won't be super relevant, but could matter. Okay, they vial in something here. Okay. So that's going to be something we'll want to Drown in the Lock, probably. I'm just going to crack this now. If we draw Fatal Push, yeah, we can't hit that, but my life total does matter, and I do want to grab a duel. So I think we're just going to get Breeding Pool here. Maximize our Uro flexibility. So yeah, pretty much any draw would be a decent draw here. Waterlogged Grove, okay. So... we will go, I guess we'll just start with Uro. Green, blue, and then we can do blue-black with that. And in terms of cards to leave in the graveyard, we have Snapcaster Mage, so I think we'll just leave Fatal Push. We don't care about card types or anything like that. Alright, speak of the devil. So, oh wait, we do care about card type. I still think that was correct. Well, no, I think that was just actually misplay. I should have left a sorcery. I'm sorry about that. I forgot we literally had the Tarmogoyf in play. Well, we will attack with this. So we lost 1 point of damage if we had left a sorcery. I mean, it's close. It's actually not super cut and dry on that, but I think that it would have been better. If we kill this, there's already an instant and a creature, so that wouldn't bump up our Goyf at all. I think I'm just going to kill this now before they can untap with it, though. And now we're in a pretty good shape. I mean, we have a really powerful board that can end the game quickly. We have Snapcaster removal spell next turn. Our life total is pretty healthy, and it's going to only get healthier. All right, sweet. We got there. So this should be a pretty good matchup. So we're playing against Elemental Tribal, Risen Reef, Incandescent Soulstroke. So they got some spice, but I think we should be in a pretty good spot. All right, for sideboarding, this looks pretty good, and Gusts also look solid. Yeah, I think we want these. The question is, what do we not want? And I don't think Scavenging Ooze is too necessary, although I guess it can just gain life and become huge. All of the cards in the main deck look pretty good, honestly. Let's see. Maybe we can bore down on Jace and Lily just because we're on the draw, so it'll be harder to have a good board state for those 2 cards. Drown in the Lock and Trophy both seem solid just as removal spells. I would like to play these Aether Gust. Maybe we bore down on 1 Scavenging Ooze. I think the discard spells are good on the draw. But this is pretty good. All of the elementals we've seen are red or green, although a lot of them do have, like, immediate impact. So, like, Aether Gust on Risen Reef is not that impressive, at least when it's on the battlefield. I think I'll just cut the Lilies, I guess. Like, Edicting against them doesn't seem too impressive, and yeah, we'll run it like this. Alright, solid hand. We have Fatal Push on 1, Goyf on 2, Snap Fatal Push on 3, probably. We can also Thought Scour ourselves. I guess we might not end up Fatal Pushing on 1. Depends on what they do, but we don't really want to Fatal Push their dude that tutors. Okay, no play. I think I'm just going to play Watery Grave untapped and pass. Like, we're going to use a blue or black mana this turn either way, so yeah, that seems fine. If they play the hasty dude, we'll definitely just Fatal Push it before it can get an attack in. And then next turn we can fetch a green source for this and play Tarmogoyf if we want to. Mariner. Okay, so we'll just Thought Scour ourselves. Just hit a couple lands and drew another Fatal Push. So do we just want to Fatal Push this now? Our options are to either Fatal Push this now or to play Tarmogoyf. We lost one snow-covered swamp, but we do have one in hand because we have 2 in our deck. It's probably a bit, well, Actually, I do want to just kill this because I don't want, like next turn we might really want to be able to have access to Fatal Push. Next turn we have Uro Fatal Push and we can't do that if this is alive. So I think we're just going to play a swamp and pass. And then kill this in beginning of combat. We want to kill the other dude if they play that, the one with haste. They can... Oh, wait, no, that returns one from your graveyard. But still, I think we're just going to be killing this in begin combat. Risen Reef. Okay, so... Yeah, I'm just going to... Fatal Push this, and the next turn we'll go Uro, Fatal Push, the Risen Reef. And yeah, they get value, they get a card off of that, but that's fine. We're building towards Uro, which can overwhelm that for sure. So, let's see. We can fetch... So, we now have access to all of our... We have enough colored mana, I think. The question is, do we just fetch a forest here? And I think I am fine just getting forest and then playing... Well, that's close, actually. I guess, no, we'll just play Overgrown Tomb. No, sorry. Let's think. I mean, we could fetch Shock, but then we're gaining 3 life, so we're only taking 2 overall. I think I'm just going to fetch a forest here. I guess we could also just play Goyf instead. But I like the idea of having the option of escaping Uro next turn, so we're going to go for that. So, grab a forest. Play Uro. We have Revolt more than triggered. Okay, now we have plenty of land. So this will give us our second green, so we just need a blue source, and we have Uro next turn. Alright, kill your Risen Reef and pass. And the next turn we have Uro plus Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's good. That's actually very annoying. They can bring back their Risen Reef now. In fact, that's actually a strong... We should have just held Fatal Push and played Fatal Push. We could have played Fetch Sign and then Fatal Push in there, begin combat. That would have been definitely better. I still think we're in a pretty good position, but that is what we should have done. So we'll see if they just get another Risen Reef here. Uro might actually be a bit dicey. I imagine they're getting another... Oh, they just got another Harbinger? That's weird. Well, I think we're just going to go Uro Goyf. Like, yeah, they can get in their value thing here, but I think Uro will just overpower that. So we need to make sure to get a blue land here. We could just get an island. Let's see. Do we care about our life total? Yeah, I think I will get an island, I guess. And then we'll fetch a shock with this second land. So escape this. Blue, green, blue, green. And we want to leave definitely a Fatal Push for Snapcaster Mage. We can take out some lands. Yeah, that seems good. Leave one land, one Fatal Push. And then Goyf or Aether Gust. I think I like just getting the Goyf down. Yeah, they can attack and get their Risen Reef back. Actually, never mind. I think we actually are just going to go for an Aether Gust. Well, let's see. If they attack, they just lose this immediately. They'll get a couple Risen Reef triggers, but I kind of feel like that's fine. No, we already have a good board. I think I'm just going to go with Aether Gust. And then next turn we can go like Snap, Push, Gust, and just like, we don't really need another threat. As long as we have an Uro in play, like, we have a board presence established, and we can sort of win just with that. So they play a Risen Reef. I think I'm just going to Aether Gust this. They put it on the bottom. Interesting. So if they attack, we can just kill this. Yep, okay. So they get their Risen Reef. They're holding Harbinger, and then they just got another card, so kill this. They violin their Harbinger. So they get their Risen Reef value, sure, but I still just think Uro will outpace this. Shriekmaw. Okay, do they have black mana? Alright, I mean, that's something. Reveal an elemental. We can get this back pretty quickly, though. So we do need to, I mean, they're actually sort of going off with this Risen Reef, so maybe I underestimated how bad our situation was. But this Risen Reef is going to die in its turn. We can play Tarmogoyf and hold up Snapcaster Mage. We're only one card away from using Uro again. So I'll just cast Goyf, play Creeping Tar Pit, and pass. And we have Snap Gust or Snap Push. Moldrifter, huh? Well, we can't Aether Gust that, so I guess that resolves. Yeah, maybe we're actually just behind here. I don't think it really makes sense to Snapcast or anything here, so we'll just untap. Trophy, okay. That's not great. We could just cast it so that we can use Uro. We'll start by... Let's see, we could animate Tar Pit and hit for 6. I do want to get this Uro into play, but I don't really want to trophy any of these cards. I think we're just going to attack for 3 and pass, and go for Uro next turn, probably. Assuming that they'll have drawn something scary off of this Moldrifter. They chump, sure. We put Watergrave into play, tapped, and pass. Okay, what are they vialing in? Okay, that we will kill, and let's see, we might just want to kill that now in case they have, like, I guess they can't cast Veil of Summer no matter what, but I still think we just want to get rid of this now. Really do not want them to get back Risen Reef or Shriekmaw. Actually, toughness less than, so they actually can't get back Shriekmaw, but still this is fine. Now we have up Snapcaster Assassin's Trophy. They have a lot of cards in hand, but I still think, like, this Uro can hopefully put in some good work. One thing, note, if we do Snapcaster and Flashback something, then we cannot, okay, I think I am just going to Snap Aether Gust that. But now we don't have enough cards to escape Uro anymore, so that's worth noting. Well, there's a lot of cool elementals. I'll give that to our opponent. They put Voice in the bottom. Interesting. Lightning Skelemental. Okay, that's not too effective. They put Kahira into their hand. Play Kahira. I mean, it's sort of cool that this pumps up all their things. Oh, another Skelemental. Wow. Okay. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, wait, we're just dead. Bummer. Well, I can honestly say I was not expecting 12 points of hasty damage there. So, we lose. Alright, well, I definitely misplayed many times there. I have no idea what's going on over there. I just did not realize what the opponent was playing. We actually do want Scavengers to deal with that one dude. I'm not even actually sure we want Aether Gusts. Man, I actually have no idea how to play against this deck. Like, yeah, this does put stuff on top, but, like, then they can just get it back if they want it, and they do have a lot of good abilities to get back. So I think we're actually just going to go with this and just try and go a little bit bigger and not play these gusts. They just seemed a little bit underwhelming. Like, we cast a lot there, and still we're behind. All right, we'll keep this. It's a bit land heavy, but one of the lands is Tar Pit, which is a nice value land, and we have push into Goyf into Snap Push. Although, actually, we won't have that because we're going to just play Tar Pit on one. Ziggurat, so they cannot play a Vial, and they don't. Do we want to just Thought Scour ourselves or play a Tarmogoyf? I think it's worth it just to establish the Tarmogoyf. So we will grab Breeding Pool, untapped. And then next turn we can go Thought Scour plus Fatal Push. And hopefully the Thought Scour will make our Tarmogoyf nice and juicy. Okay, they just cast that guy. That's definitely not a problem. So I'm going to start with a Thoughts. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's probably better. So we can just play Uro, Fatal Push that. Alright, Fatal Push. And attack for 3. And now we've developed our mana pretty well. We have an Uro that we'll be able to get to soon. We can't quite get there this turn because of this dang swamp messing us up, but we can do it the turn after. Relic. Okay, well, that can fight our Uro. There goes Uro. But we still have Thought Scour to refill the graveyard. Okay, there's a Flamekin. They only have 3 cards right now. We'll see what they get with this. Okay, Risen Reef. I think we're just going to Thought Scour them, actually, just to get rid of that Risen Reef. And then one of these guys, too. And now I think we just go Uro, green, blue. Always remember that you can cast Thought Scour on your opponent. A lot of people just default always cast it on themselves, but it's a pretty valid play. Like, we just counteracted this entire card's effect. So we put in a land and another land and attack. And if they don't block, then we will crack this. I think we're just going to grab a basic island and Thought Scour ourselves. Just in case we can grow our Tarmogoyf bigger by hitting a sorcery or something. Planeswalker too, that does it. Alright, so they take 4. And now next turn we can escape Uro. We also have Snapcaster, which I guess right now we can only flashback Thought Scour, but that's still something. Fulminator Mage, okay, definitely don't care about that. I mean, they can kill our Tar Pit. Okay, they kill that, sure. So we need to get a green with this, and then we have second green in hand, so we can still cast our Uro. I think I'm just going to fetch. At this point, I think we want to cycle the Triumph, so I'll just grab a Breeding Pool. So we play Waterlogged Grove. Attack first, because we don't want to make our Tarmogoyf smaller. They jump block, okay. You go green, green, blue, blue. Goyf. Take out a couple lands. Thought Scour. And I guess, well, we'd rather leave a Thought Scour than the land, so we'll take out all the lands, even though this does shrink the Goyf slightly. And we can put Creeping Tar Pit into play, presumably. Okay, well, that's not a great draw here. when we're very ahead on board, but we're not planning our sideboard around us being way ahead on board. Alright, there's a Risen Reef from our opponent, so that's pretty good. They do not have a Shriek Maw, that's good. So we can animate Tar Pit and attack for lethal. That's probably worth it. And then we'll just go Snapcaster Mage, eat something post-combat. So this makes them chump block. Alright, sweet. Took down Elemental Tribal in match 1. We probably could have won game 2 if we had played it a bit tighter, but sort of, this is my first ever league with this deck, and I've definitely never played against that deck, so we're learning as we go, but we're doing a good job on to round 2. Alright, here we are for round 2 against PZ_, and we are on the play. And this hand is pretty good. It's a bit land light, but we have a couple Thought Scours that can hopefully fix that. We can go turn 1, Swamp Inquisition, turn 2, Fetch, Breeding Pool, Thoughtseize, Thought Scour. So we'll see what we're up against. Humans, huh? And they only have one land. Oh, wait, no, just like hatebears, I guess. And this, yeah, I mean, they really have to get lucky to draw out of this. If they top deck a land, that sucks, but we're definitely taking Vile here. Not too close on that one. If they go land Giver of Runes, that's a bit, or land Noble, that's a bit annoying. We can just Drowning Block it if we want to. Okay, they just played Tech Edge and pass. That is, that's what we wanted to see. Okay, we just drew that, so that's pretty sweet. Question is if we want to fire off the Thoughtseize here. And I think the answer is yes. Like, yeah, I think we're just going to do this. Even though it's not great, like, yeah. Okay, they drew another Noble. I actually probably would have taken the Noble, but since they drew another one, that seems a little bit less impressive. So I think we're just going to take Stoneforge Mystic. And then play this untapped and pass the turn. Hoping to hit Uro with our Thought Scour, obviously. Okay, they do nothing. We Thought Scour ourselves. Draw a Scavenging Ooze. I think, yeah, ooh. So, yeah, we're just going to play Tarmogoyf. And Thought Scour ourselves again. This will fetch, I think, just another Breeding Pool. We definitely want green. Yeah, actually, we definitely Breeding Pool, because we want green for Scavenging Ooze, and we need blue this turn to use our Thought Scour. And this Tarmogoyf will really put a fast clock on them. If they miss their land drop here, they're definitely just dead. Alright, so we'll fetch. Grab that second Breeding Pool. Still looking for Uro. Oh, we sort of found Uro. This is a huge Tarmogoyf right now. So, crash in for 6. And then the question is, would we rather... I think we're just going to play Scavenging Ooze and just try and have as fast of a clock as possible. So, I'll cast the Ooze. We also, like, we'd have to draw back-to-back lands to be able to play Uro next turn. If this Swamp could cast Uro, that would change things slightly. So we'll just do this, and then, let's see. If we eat this Stoneforge Mystic, it does shrink the Goyf, but it grows the Skooz, so it's net neutral. So I think that is worth it. They also are likely going to be discarding a creature. Oh, they're not. Well, we'll cast Uro just to put a creature in the graveyard, I guess. But yeah, this game is very over now. Taking that Vial on turn 1 really did a number on them. If they had a Vial there, this would actually be a close game, I think. So hit them for 9, and now even if they get a creature, like we have multiple removal spells. Alright, so pretty easy game 1 there. We're playing against green-white hatebears. That should be a pretty good matchup, I would imagine. Alright, I think these are the only 2 cards we want here. Aethergust deals with some of their cards, but not enough. Same with Ceremonious Rejection. What do we not want? I think the Planeswalkers look pretty good. The removal spells definitely look good. Scavenging Ooze can gain some life and become huge. I think we might just trim 1 Thoughtseize. And... Maybe one Jace on the draw. Yeah, that seems fine. And we'll run this. We don't want to have too many 4-drops. And this is also, like, when your opponent has a bunch of creatures on the battlefield, it becomes a lot less impressive. Alright, good hand. Inquisition into Tarmogoyf. The classic Jund start. Okay, so they have a Vial. We are just going to grab... Not actually sure exactly what lands we want here. I think we should probably just go with... We're probably just going to end up fetching, like, 2 duels, but I think we're just going to get Overgrown Tomb with this one. Because we're pretty sure we want black... Well, we know we want black mana on turn 1, and we're pretty sure we want green mana on turn 2. Overgrown Tomb and Inquisition. Okay, so... we should probably just take the Stoneforge Mystic, I think. Flickerwisp is good with Vial, but we can, now that we know about it, we can sort of play around it, so we'll just take the 2-drop. They do have this sword, but luckily blue, like, it doesn't give protection from black, so our removal spells will still be good. So they'll probably just play Ghost Quarter Pass unless they drew something that changes things. Temple Garden was their draw. Okay. Definitely fine with us. So we're just going to play our Goyf. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be tapping all of our mana every turn, so I'm just going to fetch Shock. In general, if you have a chance where you can get your tapped lands into play, then you want to play these lands earlier, but I don't think that'll be the case here. So we are going to get, I think, blue-black here since we have a double black card in hand. Cast a 3/4 Goyf. They will Vial in their Noble Hierarch. Yep, there's the Vial. And now, I mean, yeah, they could potentially do some annoying things with this Sword of Fire and Ice and their flyers since we don't have access to removal right now. I guess we could just go Snap Inquisition, take either their Flickerwisp or their Sword. So that, yeah, that's probably going to be fine. This is their hand. We'll see if they go for casting the sword here. Looks like they are doing that. Or maybe they're just casting Flickerwisp. Okay, they do just cast sword. Sure. So we will just go Snap Inquisition, take your Flickerwisp, and then leave this back to block that. Ooh, trophy for the sword will be nice at some point. But yeah, starting with a Snap. This does shrink our Goyf, actually. Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, this actually is pretty awkward. We can't... So this will be a 3/4 when it attacks. So we actually don't have profitable blocks. Are we just going to chump block? That seems pretty bad. But I actually think that is what we have to do here. We can't block with a Snapcaster, of course. Yeah, I forgot that was going to make our dude smaller. So I think we are just going to pass here. But that's awkward. We are just going to throw away our Goyf now. But I still think they have one card. Like, we have another Goyf and just a lot of stuff in our hand. So I think we should be in fine shape. Also, as we are assuming they are going to equip the sword. If they do that, then they also can't cast other stuff. So there's the Ghost Quarter. They have one unknown. They do just go for the equip. I mean, we could just take it, but I don't really want to let them draw cards. I want to cut them off of resources as much as possible. Also, their life total is high enough that, like, a relatively small Goyf isn't, like, a really awesome threat. They could have a Flickerwisp. Oh, they're just casting something? Thalia, okay. So, I kind of think we should just Assassin's Trophy that sword right now. We could wait, but then if they top like a Flickerwisp, that's super bad for us. So I think we are just going to do that. So we're taking 3 from this Thalia here, but now our Tarmogoyf will be huge. It can definitely hold off these ground creatures, and we have Drowned Lock to deal with future stuff. I mean, they do have this Vial still, so that makes it a bit hard for us to play around what they have, but they don't have any cards in hand. And we also have a board sweeper in case things get hairy, although we do need to draw some lands for that. Wow. That's brutal. That is really brutal. That was like one of the best things they could have top decked. So, do we just chump block this or discard a card? Man, that is very frustrating that they just drew that. I don't really want to discard any of these cards, so I think I am just going to chump block. But then, yeah, they had no cards, and that was easily the best card in their deck they could have top decked. So that's too bad. We need to draw 2 lines in a row so that we can get to this. But even then, like, all future threats are just really annoying with this thing. Oh, man, yeah, we're super dead now. So hopefully we can draw a land with this. All right, we're dead. Man, that sucks that they just top decked that sword. I mean, I think we are just dead on board, actually. Like, we can take 5, and then we can't deal with that next turn no matter what. We take 5 again. Then, if we draw land, I guess we could maybe have a chance. If we draw land, and they draw brick. Okay, that is definitely good for us. Yeah, that's definitely good for us. Now we just don't have to pay life. So we take our 5, discard one of these drown in the locks, I guess. We really have to, we need them to brick. If they play any creature here, we're dead. And we still brick. So, well, I guess we could Fatal Push this and then play Liliana Edict them, but if they have a creature, we're dead. Oh, I'm still just a little bit on tilt from them top decking the sword there. We were so far ahead, and then they top decked like the one card in their deck. Literally the one card. I actually don't think there was a single other card that would like swing the game that strongly. I'm not playing around Flicker Rose because we're already dead to that. Oh. Well, alright, so it'll push this just to take 1 less damage. Now if we draw an untapped land, which is any land other than Triome, we can win. I guess, yeah, fetch land would be fine. So we'll discard this because we're not going to be able to get to that when they have Tech Edge. Bummer. That's a tilt. Alright. Well, yeah, again, that's very annoying that they top deck the sword there, but it is what it is. We don't have many answers to the swords. I mean, we have the Ceremonious Rejections, but that's just way too narrow. Do we want to bring back in this Thoughtseize or Jace? No, I think we're just going to run it back like this. They're attacking our mana, so that's something to be aware of. Like, it'll be a little bit hard to get to 4s, which is why I don't want to bring in the Jace. Okay, we'll keep this. A lot of interaction. We don't have a threat, but I think that's okay. So we're going to lead on Watery Grave Inquisition. They mulligan. That's good for us. Trophy is a bit awkward to have in the opener because giving them a land is not great. And we're playing this land instead of the other because if we draw Thought Scour, we can cast that and play Overgrown Tomb tapped. So I think we just take Noble because it's cheaper. We have Fatal Push, so we can kill something either way. Gaddock just does, like, nothing. I don't really know why they have that, but we'll take the cheaper card. So they play land, pass. We play land, pass. They play Gaddock, and we can end a turn Fatal Push, then untap with 3 mana, and hopefully draw, like, a Liliana or something. They could be playing... Actually, I'm going to use a fetch land here, just because I really don't want to get blown out by them having, what's it called? Leonin Arbiter. So we are going to do that. Also, I mean, deck thinning isn't really a thing, but it's like slightly relevant. They cast a Noble. Alright, I think we're just gonna push that. Crack this, and I'm just gonna grab a Triome here, I think. Goif, great draw. So we will cast that. And we're gonna play this turn we are just gonna play Overgrown Tomb because we want to keep the Misty Rainforest around so that we can trigger Revolt. So they play their Ghost Quarter, play their Gaddock Teague. Oh, they just play Thalia. Okay. So we are going to go land and then just attack and pass, I think. I mean, we could snap Inquisition, but then we don't have a way to trigger Revolt to hit the Resto, although we do have Assassin's Trophy. Actually, I think I am just going to snap Inquisition here. It's not, like, amazing, but I think it's fine. And we will grab... I'm fine just grabbing a basic here. Would you rather a third green or a third blue? Probably a third green since we have Scavenging Ooze in the deck. We could also Fatal Push this, but I think I'm just going to use Inquisition when we know we can get value from it. It does shrink our Goyf, which is a bit annoying, but we have a lot of sorceries. Ooh, Settle the Wreckage is a good one to know about. They don't have a land right now. They also... Settle the Wreckage is very weak with Thalia. So they attack us for 2. And then just pass. They have no play. Second Thalia. That is a weak line. And they said, wow, yeah, that really did not work out well for our opponent there. So we'll go Swamp and attack for 5. And then just pass. So we have up Snap, Fatal Push if we want to. That will again shrink our dude down more, but could be necessary. What 3-drop could they be playing? They can't play a sword right now. Maybe they drew a sword and they thought they could cast it. Oh no, okay. Rest in Peace. That's annoying. Well, we're definitely gonna... Yeah, I think we're just gonna Snap, Fatal Push here. That turns off that turns off our Tarmogoyf. We can Assassin's Trophy it, but that will give them a land, which I don't really want to do. So we'll probably just attack for 4 with the 2 snaps. So that's their hand. Thought Scour. Well, So if we kill this, the Rest in Peace will be exiled, but the Assassin's Trophy won't. Then we can Thought Scour ourselves. Alternatively, we could just use Thought Scour just as a cantrip and not give them the land. That's probably better. They have 2 4-drops in hand, so I'll just Thought Scour them and hopefully hit some equipment. Thought Scour. Oh, choke. Alright. Well, I'm just going to Thought Scour them again. Oh, okay. Attack for 4. And pass the turn. So they drew their land. Pass. So now we'll probably just attack with both Snapcasters. That's a terrible draw. Attack with both Snapcasters, and then they'll play... I mean, if they just settle, that's fine. And if they go for Resto, then we'll just trophy the Resto. Resolves. Assassin's Trophy. They get another land, but we don't care anymore. Now they can cast their spells. So this brings them down to 1. And they're going to have to settle just to deal with 1 Snapcaster Mage. The question is, do we want to hold Uro in case we're in a post-Rest in Peace world? And I think it's not worth it. We only have 1 more answer in our deck. So I think I would rather just cast this. Sorry, Uro. You're getting sort of beat here. Rest in Peace is a good card against this deck. So it's possible we should be playing more answers to that, like Abrupt Decay, some Abrupt Decays or something. Maelstrom Pulse. I am going to keep this Polluted Delta in play because we could draw Jace or Fatal Push, which would both incentivize us to keep it. Although, Max punished. Attack for 2. If they have another Resto, that's very bad. Hopefully they're just using their Settle. Okay, sure. Settle the Wreckage, so we lose our Snap. We'll grab another land. And I'll just play this tapped and pass. And now, the Snapcaster's a lethal attacker. I mean, most creatures they could have would outsize it, but... Alright, tapping some mana. Oh, that's bad. That's very bad. They go for Batterskull. Okay, so... Hopefully we draw a removal spell this turn, I guess. I wish I had a Dryad Arbor. Ooh, okay, that should do it, I think. So we hit for 2, just trade these off. I think that is worth it. Then they have to spend 5 to oh wait, they have a... Okay, they sack that. Sure. So they have to chump here, or they could have Path, but they probably have to chump. And now they have a Ghost Quarter. So they can deal with our Creeping Tar Pit, but then they're going to be pretty far away from playing Batterskull, so we have a couple turns to draw cards. They have another spell. Flicker Wisp. Okay, so they can flicker their Ghost Quarter so that it enters untapped, and then they can kill our Tar Pit. Wow, okay. I mean, our opponent's fighting back. We still have a lot of good draws in our deck, but the Rest in Peace is shutting us down pretty hard. So they get their Ghost Quarter. Hopefully we just draw Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay, Liliana of the Veil is good too. I'm going to start by just attacking. Actually, yeah, no, we do want to attack. We want to keep them off of mana. So they'll go for Ghost Quarter here. Grab our last basic. And now we have a couple options. I think we're just going to play Lily on it and make them sacrifice their Flicker Wisp. We could, like, if we had one more land, we could sweep the board and then start upticking, but I don't think that does too much, so we'll do this. Kill off their Flicker. Pass the turn. Okay, a Flicker Wisp of another Flicker Wisp that's pretty bad. We can sweep the board though, and then play Liliana to make them sacrifice. Obviously, a bit awkward to sweep the board when you have one creature and they have one creature, but it is definitely worth it here. So, player land, sweep the board. Man, Dryad Arbor would be so good here. They path their own Flicker Wisp in response. Okay. So they have Batterskull and one unknown. So if we plus, they discard the other card, and then they top deck a land to play Batterskull. That is a bit annoying. It's possible I should have just prioritized this Rest in Peace more highly and just killed that even when they had the Resto. Like, we were beating down lethal Snapcasters, so I think we were in a pretty good position there to just go for the quick kill, but we did get punished. Like, they drew out of it, and now we just don't have an answer to this Rest in Peace, and that neuters a lot of our threats. Oh, they just pitched the Batterskull. Interesting. Okay. Now I think I'm going to crack one of these fetch lands, since we still have the other one for Revolt. We have 3 shock lands left in our deck, I believe. Okay, so they're out of cards. They can crack this to draw a card end of turn, though. That sword is less scary than the other one. Alright, deck, come on. Give us the goods. That is not exactly the goods. At least it can chump block something with a sword on it. And it means that it turns Assassin's Trophy into a lethal draw because we can kill the Rest in Peace and then have a 1/2 Goyf. How many lands are left in our deck at this point? We've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 10 left, so that's good. Disproportionate number. And then Rest in Peace is a brick. I'm sort of surprised they cast that. They must have a creature here, right? Yep, okay, there's a Thalia. I think we'll just edict that away. Yeah, actually, definitely. I don't want them to get the sword value. Oh. I guess we cast that, even though, yeah, it's pretty bad. I guess padding our life total. Our life total's already high. I don't think that matters too much. Trophy. Bummer. Well, bye-bye, Thalia. Pass the turn. Stoneforge Mystic. Well, actually, we can Inquisition away the sword, so that is good. Or Liliana plus away the sword. So they probably won't even get it. Okay, they did. That's definitely a misplay. Wait, what? Oh, equip the sword. Okay, sure. Alright, so a lot of live draws here. That is one of them. So we can plus pitch Inquisition. Get rid of their sword. And I'm just going to kill this now. I don't want them to be able to resto. So now resto is their scariest draw because we plus the Liliana, they play it in response, and then like if they any sorcerer speed creature, we can just make them sacrifice. Okay, yeah, Gaddock we can kill. Although it does kill our Liliana. So I would prefer to draw like a better answer, like another Fatal Push or something, so we can keep this around. I don't want them to get a hidden. I guess we could just go for a chump block. Okay, that is a lethal attacker. So we are just going to make them sacrifice this, and now they have to top deck a creature this turn. They have to top deck a creature, and we have to not top deck a removal spell for them to survive. Alright, finally drew a threat that can do something. Come on, opponent. Brick for one turn. They've barely seen any lands. Oh, no. Arbiter? Okay. I mean, yeah, a removal spell wins now. Let's see, they've seen 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lands. They've seen 9, we've seen 15, I think, or 14, and they've seen more cards of their deck. Seems a little unfair. So, removal spell wins. Waterlogged Grove is okay. I mean, it's just a redraw, but gets through a land out of our deck. Looted Delta is bad. So we pass the turn. Now, if they just draw like a couple creatures in a row, it'll be very bad for us. But they need... Okay, finally, a land. So that's good. I think I actually am just going to crack this now, because if we draw Fatal Push, we already win, and I just really don't want to draw lands. Like, our deck now is small enough that I think taking one card out actually could be the difference. Oh, wait. That's funny. I forgot that I had... Okay, that's bad. Well, it's okay, because we actually had a... Alright. So we would have shuffled, and I think... I mean, that's an okay draw. But eventually we need to find a way to actually win. So if they attack, that means they drew another creature. They did. So we block with a Goyf. So we can kill their creatures. Thalia, okay. So, yeah, I think we're just going to be sweeping the board here. So I'm going to keep the fetch land in play now because a Fatal Push doesn't win. Oh, wait, no, a Fatal Push does still win. Yeah, I'm just gonna shuffle. Or grab our thing. Alright. Oh, Drown the Luck is also a brick. That's annoying. Fatal Push. Alright. Yes! Finally! This is protection from blue and red, so we can trophy that and finally get in for the win. Alright. That was a long grind of the game. We definitely deserved it. We flooded very, very hard. But luckily, the Waterlogged Groves really proved their worth there. If they were regular lands, I think we'd probably lose this game. But we managed to take it down, so 2-0. Headed on to round 3. Made us sweat, but we got there. Alright, here we are for round 3. Our good luck with the die rolls have come to an end. We are in the draw here, but our opponent's on a mulligan. We don't have a discard spell, but I still think I'm going to keep this. We have a piece of one-man interaction. We got some powerful cards, so hopefully we can draw some lands. Misty Rainforest, pass. Okay. We will lead on Watergrave tapped. Trophy isn't really the card you want in your opener, but I still think this is a solid place to start. So are we playing against a snow control deck? Breeding Pool. So that definitely puts us in that direction. Yep, looking like that's what we're up against. So a bit of a change of pace from the last couple of rounds. We'll play an Overgrown Tomb tapped and pass. And the next turn we have Uro. Hopefully they don't play Coatl, but they probably will. Oh. Okay, this could be rough. Playing against Bant, like Planeswalkers, yeah, this is gonna be tough. Okay, no Jace the Mind Sculptor there is good for us. I'm gonna just go for Uro here. We do have Trophy Snap Trophy to deal with 2 Planeswalkers, but this is gonna be a hard matchup, at least with this hand. Or it should just be a hard matchup in general, honestly. Field of the Dead is gonna be annoying for us. Cryptic Command, okay. It's a relatively unimpressive Cryptic Command, honestly. So if they just play tap land pass, they very likely have another Cryptic, so I don't think we're just going to jam our Jace here. Goyf, okay. Well, I'm just going to cast this. Alright. But, I mean, yeah, we're almost definitely going to lose this game, and I think this matchup in general should be pretty hard, but we'll see. Alright, do we just go for Jace now? I mean, they could just have a third... Oh, they could have Snapcaster. I think we should just go with a Goyf. And misplay. I should have played this Waterlogged Grove first in case they had Mana Leak. And if they go for Snap, counterbalance their Snap, we can definitely just Fatal Push that. Okay, there's the Snap, so very happy we didn't play the Jace. Considering that they just Cryptic Commanded us 3 turns in a row, I actually feel surprisingly not behind, but we're definitely not in a great spot. They just go for the counter draw, okay. So these Fatal Pushes can hit Uro. There's the Field of the Dead. So I think I'm just going to go for Trophy end of turn here. Very, very happy this trophy is a trophy, not a Abrupt Decay right now. This land would just destroy us single-handedly. Otherwise, we still have up Snap Trophy at some point. So I'm just going to go Forest and cast Jace. And I mean, yeah, they might have Counterspell, but I don't think we can really finagle a better situation for it than this. So we'll just cast it here. Oh, it does resolve. Okay. I'm going to Brainstorm. We have a Fatal Push. They could have Coatl. Okay, we have already played land. So I'm going to just put back Uro Verdant. Pass. And then I'm going to go for Upkeep, Fatal Push this. If they counter this, that's fine, but they won't. Like, they wouldn't counter Fatal Push and not counter Jace. Okay, there's a Field of Ruin, so I mean they can deal with one of these lands if they want to, but we have a Jace on board, so we're definitely ahead right now. And they also shuffle away 2 cards that we didn't really want, so that's good for us. We should probably get an island here. We only have 2 blue sources. So we have access to Uro. We have a Jace on board. Yeah, we're actually just way ahead now. How are we way ahead when they cast all these cryptics? So Brainstorm. Those are some good ones. So we'll put back. I don't think we want Uro or Fatal Push. Play a land. Play a Lily. Are we going for Uro this turn, I guess, is the question. I think the answer is yes. So we can fetch Breeding Pool with this and then have our appropriate mana if we do this. Green, blue, green, blue. I guess we should have... no, I think this is fine. We could have kept Uro and then discarded Uro instead, but I think having an Uro in the deck is fine. We already have access to plenty of Uros. So, shuffle, grab Breeding Pool. Green, blue, green, blue, Uro. We definitely want to leave Trophy, so I'm just going to leave Trophy and Uro. So now, I mean, we have 2 Planeswalkers and an Uro on the battlefield, so we're pressuring them from a lot of different angles now. They path the Uro, don't care about that too much. We have another Uro. Now, we probably won't put a land into play here because we have Jace and Liliana, so we have uses for bad cards. Alright, that's actually a great draw. That'll fuel our Uro very nicely. I love how Jace and Liliana play together. Like, Liliana can empty their hand, and then you can Fate Seal, so their pluses work very well together. Jace can bounce the creature you care less about, and Liliana can make them sacrifice the other one, so their minuses work really well together. Jace gives you fuel to discard to Liliana with a Brainstorm. It just overall is a very good combination. Hour of Promise. Okay, so we'll see. Hopefully they don't have 3 Fields of the Dead. If they do have 3 Fields in their deck, then this could be sort of bad. Okay, only 1. So now we can snap Trophy that. We'll see what we draw here, but Tarmogoyf, that's a pretty good one. So we're going to start with a Thought Scour on ourselves. We actually sort... Ooh, Jace. Well... Alright, I'm going to cast Snap Assassin's Trophy now. So try and kill this. Does this work? Yes. Now I think we're just gonna bounce one, make them sacrifice the other. I mean, we could keep on Lilianaing at their hand, but I think dealing with their creatures on the battlefield is nice, and I don't really want to lose any of my creatures or any of my cards in hand. So we'll do this. Now we have a solid clock on the board. They could have like a Supreme Verdict or something, but again, if they do, we just still have Planeswalkers that are generating us more value. And we're also getting close to Uro again, and if they sweep our board, we will have enough. Also, just in general, Field of the Dead is probably the scariest card in this matchup for us to deal with, but we killed all of their fields, so Assassin's Trophy really showing its worth here. Okay, they can bolt down our Jace, but we have another Jace. 4 colors, interesting. We draw Drown in the Lock, so we'll start by just casting Jace. We have Drown in the Lock back up. Force of Negation, okay, we will drown that. Counter target spell. They have 1 card. So Liliana can knock out their last card. And now, do we want to Fate Seal them? I think I actually am going to Fate Seal them here. They have no cards, so we can just make sure they have no resources and prevent them from drawing something good. Okay, they can definitely keep that. And we'll hit for 7. And then next turn we can Liliana to knock the Spell Snare out of their hand and Fate Seal them again, and they're on a very fast clock. Wow. I sort of thought this would be a nightmare matchup, but it felt pretty good there. I mean, maybe we just drew well, but again, they had a bunch of Cryptics and Snapcasters. They found 2 Field of Ruin or Field of the Deads, and we still sort of manhandled them. So that's a good sign. So 4-color Snow. Fulminator isn't amazing because they do have a lot of basics, but I still think it is worth it here. Fatal Push seems weak. I mean, it has targets, but it's just not that strong. Ashiok and Nihil Spellbomb are both reasonable. I think Ashiok is a bit better. So we could bring in these and cut what? I do want to keep the Uros. I like the discard spells. I think the creatures are solid. We could like trim a Tarmogoyf. Maybe we trim a Tarmogoyf and only bring in 2 Ashioks. We could also just cut the Fulminator mages, but they're playing a lot of colors, so I think Fulminator should be solid. We are in the draw, but I still think that's okay. We could also bring in Nihil Spellbombs. We could just cut the Goyfs, I guess. Like, does this seem reasonable? We're low on creatures now, but that's not really the axis that's like most effective here. Yeah, I think this seems okay. We'll run it like this. Aether Gust is a card you can play, but I don't think it's worth it. As a blue-white control player, I never really fear opposing Tarmogoyfs. It's easy to remove. It's bad against Planeswalkers. Just not the best card. This hand is pretty bad. We have no interaction. We have a lot of lands. We do have one that we can sacrifice, but I think we want to do better than this. I mean, I guess these are likely to find us something good. You know what? I actually am going to keep this. Waterlogged Grove is sort of a spell, and like fueling our graveyard is really nice, so I think this is a keep, even though it is a dicey one. Alright, leading on Mystic Sanctuary is nice. We can use Thoughtscour to mess up their Mystic Sanctuary engine with their other Sanctuary. Okay, that's a good draw. So I'm going to just lead on Watergrave, untapped, and pass. So this signals that our opponent's on a land-light hand, which actually makes it slightly like if we mulliganed into a Thoughtseize hand and they have like a spell heavy hand, that's pretty awkward. Okay, we hit an Uro. That's awesome. So I want to fill the graveyard as fast as possible, so I'm going to play this and pass and just plan on Thought Scouring end of turn. No Growth Spiral is good for us. If they just pass, that's also good for us. Okay, they play an island. So we'll just Thought Scour ourselves first. There's a Thoughtseize. I'm just going to grab a Triome here, I think. What are they doing here? They could just be playing... Okay, they're just fetching a tapped land. Shadow of Doubt. Alright. I mean, I guess they got us, but I'm not too concerned about that. We have a very land-heavy hand. Alright, I'm going to Thoughtseize this turn to try and clear the way for Liliana next turn. Oh. Well, they got a lot of lands, actually. I think we just take Teferi here. And play Overgrown Tomb tapped and pass. They have a couple Fields of the Dead, so that can be a concern, but Liliana can pressure their resources pretty effectively. They'll probably just play, or they play a field, pass the turn. They have Remand up. Ooh, that is a good one. I think I'm just going to go Swamp Lily. And we know it'll get remanded. Actually, we don't want to play Swamp. Yeah, I'm just going to fetch for another land because we want to have the option of Uro next turn if that's how it looks like we want to go. I'll just grab a breeding pool. Cast Thoughtseize. I mean, wait. Actually, we could just go for end of turn snap Thought Scour. Yeah, actually, I think that is a bit better. They can remand the Thought Scour and we don't get it back, so that's some value. But then we still get a 2/2 down, and they're not going to have Cryptic Command mana on their turn. Also, having a Fulminator Mage is a nice answer to the Field of the Dead. They do have a second field, but that should be okay. So they play Misty Rainforest, so there's only one unknown. We'll go for Snapcaster. They could also just let the Snapcaster and Thought Scour both resolve, but then we have like a bit of a clock, and I think that's a fine situation for us. Thought Scour. We'll see if they go for the remand. They don't. Okay, Drown in the Lock is a nice one. Another Snapcaster Mage. Okay. So we'll start by attacking. And I think we're just gonna... I mean, we do need to deal with this Field of the Dead soon. I think we're just going to go Swamp Pass, though. I mean, we could just cast Uro, but that's pretty bad against remand. Yeah, I'm just going to go Swamp Pass. And we can go end of turn, snap Assassin's Trophy. They can remand to get rid of the Assassin's Trophy. That's not great, I guess. We'll see what they do. They grab a Steam Vents. They have a Breeding Pool and an Island in hand. So we know they can get up to... Okay, they shocked there. That's bad. So we want to force them to use their remand here. Although I guess I also do really want this Drown Lock to be in the graveyard. Okay, they remand our Snap. That's fine. We're just gonna let that resolve and then untap and play Liliana Drown in the Lock. And we're just going to hit their Field of the Dead. Even though, like, they have another Field of the Dead, but we can go for Snapcaster to deal with that. So hit them down to 12. Cast Fulminator Mage. They cast their Cryptic Command. We're sort of assuming they have a Cryptic Command. If they don't, then we're... Wow, okay. So... we will just pass and upkeep, kill this. So if they have Veil of Summer here, we don't care because we have Drown in the Lock. Perfect. Yeah, that exchange went really well for us. Time Trigger Spell, Veil of Summer. Yeah, they just burned, they just wasted their Celestial Purge. So their hand is Island, Field, and one unknown, and we have multiple answers to the field. So they'll play their Field of the Dead, presumably. Or they play Island, interesting. Well, they're guaranteeing that they can get a zombie, I guess. That's their plan, but that's still not too bad. So we draw, Uro, attack for 2. And now I think we're just going to cast Liliana and cast Goyf. That is a lot of mana. Sphinx's Rav. I was definitely not expecting that, I have to admit. But, yeah, I mean, that's good against Liliana. So they have Field and then a bunch of unknowns. We'll plus discard our Uro, of course. Cast our Goyf. So they're going to play Field of Dead and make a zombie here. We do have the Snap to answer it, but if they have a counterspell, which they very likely will, then this could get hairy. Although at the same time, like, I guess if they play field, make a zombie, we can make them sack the zombie and then attack them for 7. Okay, they have a Teferi. So if they go field and they also have a counterspell, then things will get bad for us. I think I'm just gonna make them sack the zombie and go for killing the Teferi. Ooh, that is an interesting one. Well, we'll still start with this. Okay, that is very, very good for us. So they get their Veil. Yeah, they get to counter this. But now we can kill... I guess if they have another Veil, then we get pretty blown out. But we have an opportunity to resolve the Fulminator Mage. Yeah, that was a bad play on our opponent's part, I think. Like, they're just not prioritizing the right thing. Yeah, you got me. Like, I didn't sack something there. But all that matters here is the Field of the Dead. If we kill the field, we easily win. And that gives us a good window to do this. So I'm very, very happy with how this exchange worked. And the other question is if we want to attack. I think the answer is no. That just gives them a lot of choices. So we'll cast this. Cast this. Actually, we should attack. I forgot we're getting a Goif down. In which case, we shouldn't have done all this pre-combat, but I don't think it changes too much. So we'll attack the Teferi. Yep. And then upkeep, blow this up, and really hope they don't have another Veil of Summer. If they do have a second Veil here, then we're probably going to lose. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's bad. That's definitely bad. They also tapped our Goif so they can kill our Lily. We do still have more answers to that, but it's getting to the point we can't just wage an all-out war just on one card while they're like also advancing their board. So they kill our Liliana. Oh, nice. Okay, they're tapping out. That's huge. So, I mean, they could just go land Veil of Summer, and that would be bad. But if we can kill that Field of the Dead, I will be feeling much, much better about this. Oh, and we even... Okay, life is good. We can take out the Uro. We won't get to draw a card, but that's okay. So we'll start by attacking their Teferi. They'll chump, almost definitely. Yep. Now we go Snapcaster, Flashback, Assassin's Trophy. Trophy your field. They actually don't have double green, so this does give them... Oh, they did not get their double green. Interesting. So right now they actually can't cast their Uro. How greedy would it be to... Oh, they had a Force of Negation. Okay, well, that's a bit unfortunate. They can play Uro now, but we can also play Uro. It's a very close game now. We should have been really far behind. They could have easily made us very far behind if they had played a bit tighter with that Veil of Summer. I mean, with double Veil of Summer. But that's it. Maybe we should be playing some Veils, honestly. But either way, I feel pretty okay about our position overall. They get an Uro, we get an Uro. Our life total is lower than theirs, I guess. But we also have a Goif. They also have a Teferi, though. Yeah, we're probably a bit behind, but we're not super far behind. Oh, whoa, they're not going for Uro. That is surprising. Well, I'm going to start by just sending... Ooh, that was a great draw. I'm going to start by sending both things at Teferi. Chump block there. Teferi goes to 1. Yep. And now we're just gonna, I mean, if we had one more mana, we could snap Thoughtseize first. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury, but I'm just gonna cast Scavenging Ooze. Hopefully this resolves. If it doesn't, then we'll post-combat snap Thoughtseize. Oh. Wow. That will make us lose, for sure. Are you kidding me? They're playing Splendid Reclamation. Wow. I mean, yeah, now we just absolutely lose to the Field of the Dead. I'm just going to concede. That's a bummer. Wow. Was not expecting that. All right. Well, now we know about that. Definitely want this Ashiok. Do I want Aether Gusts? Not really. I mean, they're good against some of their cards. Good against Veil. But I think we're just fighting on this axis again. Like Goy was just like getting sort of bricked by the 2/2s. We just their deck is literally just the card Field of the Dead. Like none of their other cards really matter in this matchup. I think I'm pretty sure it just comes down to that. So yeah, we'll run this. That sucks. Instant speed, Splendid Reclamation. Man, them having to force the negation for our Nihil Spellbomb ended up really making a huge difference. Okay, this hand is pretty weak, but I think we're gonna keep it. It has answers to Field of the Dead, and I think Spellbomb is pretty nice. The question is if we want. I think we're just gonna play Triumph on one. They're on a mold of 5. Well, it's a bummer they're on a mold of 5 because this is a hand that's like suiting up for the long game. We can't really punish a bad start. I guess we could end up flooding here. Yeah, actually, I think I am just going to play turn 1 Nihil Spellbomb, because if we do draw another land, then we'll probably want to hold on to the Triome. Breeding Pool tapped and pass. Okay, Waterlogged Grove. Yeah, I'm just going to play Breeding Pool tapped and pass as well. And then next turn we'll go Pluto Delta, crack for Overrun Tomb, cycle Triome probably. But definitely not the start we want against a mold of 5. Although it is good that they just played a Sanctuary there. Okay, that changes things. We'll just cast Uro now. And if we don't draw land, I think I will just put Triumph into play. So Uro, let's see what we draw. I would love to find a Thought Scour. Okay, we're most likely going to cycle the Triumph, so I'm just going to play Island. Forest. Okay, it's good they don't have Teferi here. We draw. Scavenging Ooze. Do we just run that out here? I think so. So I'll go land, Scooze, and it can't like eat anything right now, but that's fine. They have to deal with it. If they path it, that helps us out a bit. Aether Gust. Okay, I think we'll pretty close if we want that on top or bottom. I think we're just gonna put it on the bottom for now. It'll be really good later, and we already have an answer to their graveyard with the spell bomb. I just want to find ways to fill my own graveyard for the Uro. All right, no land. That's definitely good for us. Although it does mean they have a lot of spells. So recycle this Triome. Draw a swamp. That's not really what we wanted to see. Okay, that is what we wanted to see. So Thought Scour ourselves. We can just cast Uro now. It's very likely to get countered though. An Aether Gust or Remand would be annoying against it. So I think we're just gonna go Verdant pass and go for end of turn snap Thought Scour ourselves again. And we can also crack our Waterlogged Grove. Ravenous Trap. So we could snap Thought Scour our opponent. And we could also snap Thought Scour ourselves, but that seems pretty bad. Exile all cards from our graveyard, huh? Yeah, as weird as it looks, I actually think I'm just going to snap Thought Scour them here. We have a way to exile their stuff. And I want to draw a card here. Like, we really don't have much action, and I don't really want to just, like, play draw go against the deck that has Cryptic Commands and 3 mana right now. So they get to take out our Uro. That's annoying. We hit an Uro over there, but that's fine. We can deal with that before it's too late. But really awkward that we drew another land, for sure. We will definitely be cracking this Waterlogged Grove end of turn. So they have a land. They have access to Cryptic now. So there is some risk associated with cracking this end of turn. They could go Cryptic. No, actually, we can deal with this no matter what. Never mind. We are just going to crack this. It is a huge bummer that we milled over some really good cards there. Like losing Jace and Fulminator Mage is a big, big bummer. So they crack. They still don't have Uro mana, or Uro cards in graveyard, so this is okay. Casting Jace. All right. I mean, that's good. That's definitely good. We'll see if they bounce our snap or if they draw cards. Oh, they plus. That's definitely good for us since we have the trophy. Although I don't really want a trophy because it just like gives them mana when they're constrained on mana, but I think we need to. I'm going to cast it now so that we can play around them having Force of Negation. They can't cast that on their own turn. Wait, we need to get a black land. So I'll just grab Overgrown Tomb. We're paying a lot of life here, but I think that's okay. And again, it does suck to give them land in this situation, but I think we need to do it. And now we're just going to crack the Spell Bomb, exile all these cards. Veil of Summer does not work against Spell Bomb. They get their land. Hopefully we start drawing some spells. Okay, that's a good one. So we will play Misty Rainforest, cast Fulminator. I think we're going to destroy a breeding pool here. Take out that Uro. It's awkward. Okay, that's a good one. I think we're just going to cast that here, actually. So attack for 2. And we're just going to activate it. Like, we could hold on to it. They do have bolts, but they probably cut them. Yeah, and so we can grab... Man, our life total is getting very precarious, but I think I'm okay with that. We'll grab a breeding pool. Down to 9. Hoping to find Uro. If they have Force of Negation, they go down to 1 card. So that's definitely okay with us. Also, worth noting they only have 2 blue mana right now, so their mana situation is pretty awkward. So if they're waiting this long, we're like 100% sure. Oh, they pathed our Snapcaster Mage. That's a weird play, but okay. We have Forest. And now if they want to force, they're out down to no cards. All this does is mean that we just get to exile their path for free. So that's definitely just a win for us. Did we hit fields? No. In fact, we hit all cards that we... I guess hitting their forest is okay, but I would have... Like, if we hit 2 fields there, I think we would just win. They have a Teferi. That doesn't do too much. Are they just going to draw a card instantly? Yep. So we have a lot of draws that would be phenomenal here. We can crack our Waterlogged Grove. The fact that they minus means we can use... They don't have a good answer for Uro. Okay, that's bad. It's bad that they have Teferi. So we'll start by cracking this. Screws, okay. I think we're just going to hit them for 4 again. Like, the resources in deck matter a lot here. Okay, we hit Splendid. We hit a Field of the Dead. That's good. I'm just going to go land, Ooze. And this Ooze can threaten to kill the Teferi next turn. Drown in the Lock is dead here, but that's okay. I mean, it could maybe kill a creature. It's converted mana cost, so it does deal with tokens well. The question is if we want to exile our own Fulminator Mage just to make this a 3/3, and I think the answer is not right now because... Okay, no Bolt, that's good. Because this is lethal to this Teferi either way. So we'll untap, and we have plenty of mana. Okay, that's a bad draw. Attack Teferi. Nice, it worked. So there's some argument to keeping the not using Teferi Ashiok because we do sort of want this Drown in the Lock to be a counterspell if possible. We are just going to play a Verdant just to crack and thin another land out of our deck. Yeah, I think I'm not going to exile that Teferi right now. Windswept Heath, okay. So we'll crack this. Grab one of our last remaining lands. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 lands down. So we only have 9 lands left in our deck. That's good. I think I actually am going to eat the Fulminator now. We don't care about having a creature in the graveyard. We have no way to get it back. We don't have Tarmogoyf for anything. I guess we have like infinite mana, but whatever. Alright, well, if we're going to draw land... Oh, worth noting, they can't use their Windswept Heath. I forgot about that, but Ashiok shuts that down. So hit for 3. And now they're on a 2-turn clock with the Tar Pit and the Skoos, so that's pretty good. If they play Field of the Dead, it will make token, though, and that would be annoying. Okay, another Polluted Delta. I can deal with that. So we untap. Draw a Snapcaster Mage. That can only hit Trophy. That's actually not amazing, but it's not terrible. So animate the Tar Pit. Crash on in for 6. And pass the turn, and maybe we're actually going to be able to eke this one out. They did mull to 5 this game, so slight asterisks, but they're just passing. So I don't think we care about Snapcaster here. We're just going to untap. It doesn't make us have lethal through a removal spell, so not too much value in it. Okay, that wasn't really the best draw, but we'll go for this. I mean, they're very likely to have a path or something, but we can Drown in the Lock a path. And yeah, I mean, they have a lot of spells, probably. Oh, they could also just play Rev for 2. Well, I guess that we got slightly punished then for not using Snap, but that resolves. We cannot Drown and Lock that. But this is still fine. So they go to 2. And now Drowning the Lock is starting to become a real card. Do they have a verdict? There's one in exile. Veil of Summer. So, yeah, I mean, we could Drowning the Lock that and then snap Drowning the Lock, but I'm just going to let that resolve. I don't think there's anything too bad that could happen here. Famous last words. All right. We got there. Whew. Tight battle, but we managed to pull it out. All right, here we are for round 4. We're on a losing streak with a die roll here. We only got a 2. That's not going to get the job done. But we have a good hand. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 maybe Drowning the Lock, and then a couple powerful 3-drops. So we'll keep. We're going to lead on Overgrown Tomb, almost definitely. Ooh, hopefully this isn't Dredge. Although if it is, hopefully they only have 1 enabler. Triome is... we'll see how that is. Maybe it's a bad draw. Okay, it is Dredge, but they do only have 1 enabler. So, we'll see. Liliana the Veil will be awkward, but if we can get a quick Uro down, that could put in some work. They cycle their Forgotten Cave. Really, really good we had this Inquisition. They also don't even have any Dredgers in their hand. So there's a Bloodstained Mire. And they pass. Thought Scour. So we're just going to play Polluted Delta and Thought Scour ourselves end of turn. And then I don't even think we want to use Liliana. Like, that's just such a liability. So we will almost definitely just be casting Uro next turn. Hopefully we can find a Scavenging Ooze sometime soon. So we're going to grab Breeding Pool here because we want to maximize our green mana. And Liliana is our only double black card, but we don't care about that. Uh-oh, they shocked. What do they have? 3 mana? Stinkweed Imp. Okay, that is fine. I mean, we can't kill it, so it'll get some hits in, but that's okay. So we will grab Breeding Pool and mill ourselves for 2. Alright. So this, yeah, I mean, we have enough for Uro next turn. So I'm just going to use the Waterlogged Grove and then put Triumph into play tapped. Yeah. Although I guess Stinkweed Imp does hold back our Uro from attacking, sort of. Unless we can find the Scavenging Ooze. Do we care about Inquisition? I don't think we do. I'm just going to play this. So we pass the turn. And again, like, the minute this Stinkweed Imp goes to the graveyard, they can just, like, flip their whole deck pretty much. So we really want to avoid that dying. We'll see if they just hardcast Creeping Chill. Okay, they play that tap. So they have these 2 still and 2 unknowns. They're getting close to just hardcasting Ox of Agonis. So that's something. If we draw Thoughtseize, we can take that out. Oh no. Okay, Golgari Thug, sure. Scavenging Ooze. Alright, well, we'll start with this. Don't care about any of the cards in my graveyard, really. Green, green, blue, blue. And I don't care about holding up Drowning the Lock because it can't hit Ox of Agonis next turn, unfortunately. Alright, I'm just going to play... I guess I'll just put in 2 tap lands, because maybe somehow... Or 2 fetch lands, because maybe having Drowning the Lock could be good. So they'll probably attack with Golgari Thug, but not Stinkweed Imp, or vice versa. Okay, they're not just casting Ox. Are they just playing Creeping Chill? Yep, that is fine. So, come on, Scavenging Ooze. If we draw Scavenging Ooze, we'll just win. So they don't do anything. I'll just fetch 2 tapped lands. They're both green. Oh, we need to decide if we want basic forest or another shock. I think actually we're fine on green mana. We have a lot here, so I'm just going to grab another shock land. Alright, well, there's a Thought Scour, so we'll mill ourselves for 2. Uro, okay. So now we need to decide, like, are we okay with putting a Dredger in the graveyard? I don't think so. So I think we're just going to cast an Uro. So we want to make sure we sacrifice the right one. So green, blue, blue. I guess we could just crack the Waterlog Grove first in case we draw Scoos. Yeah, that seems fine. Goyf. Oh, man. They're really holding off our threats just by the fact that we don't want to kill them. Is there any value in holding up Drown in the Lock? They still just like... I mean, I guess if they draw fetch land, that could be good. So I'm just going to play... I think I'm just going to Inquisition them. Oh, but it could hit something that we actively really don't want to be in the graveyard. Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to play tap land and pass. Getting Goyf down doesn't matter that much. I guess it could matter. Actually, yeah, I'm going to shock and just play cast a Goyf. Like, we do want to be able to clock them pretty quickly when we find our opportunity, and having a Goyf down on the board speeds that up quite a bit. Still can't attack. If they draw fetch land, we can Drown into Lock the Ox. No attacks, okay. I mean, yeah, like, we can just kill 2 things, and then untap and hit for 10. But I'm just so scared of what they could do after that, so I think we're not going to go for it yet. Scoos, come on, Scavenging Ooze. Let's see it. Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze. Well, not a Scavenging Ooze. I'm going to play that, crack it for basic, since all we have left is basics. Cast Uro. So we'll keep the one that does not have Summoning Sickness. Okay, so I am going to Thoughtseize them now. We'll take the Ox, probably. Yep, we'll take the Ox. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, once they Dredge 5, then they can do all sorts of stuff. This is so awkward. I think I'm just going to play Inquisition just because there's not really any reason not to. Just take the Narcomoeba. This takes 8 cards, so they're still a ways away from casting that. Bye-bye, Narcomoeba. Pass the turn. And now we can just go Liliana plus, potentially. I mean, Prized Amalgams are good in the graveyard, but I don't care too much. Oh, do they have... Okay, if they have Cathartic Reunion, we can Drown and lock that. It looks like they do have it. Oh, they just hardcast Bloodghast. Okay, sure. So they pass it back. We are just going to play Liliana and Uptick. Unless we draw Scoos. Alright, well. That's what we're going to be discarding, I think. We are fine on lands. And maybe we can get to the point where we can ultimate Liliana. Although, well, that's still a little dicey. But this takes them off of Cathartic Reunion. So they pitch one of their Prized Amalgams that we knew about. And we pass. This really is going to be hard to win if we don't draw Scavenging Ooze, though, fairly soon. I mean, we've gone through half of our deck without seeing any. It's a 2 of, so it's not like a super common card, but still, we've seen a lot of cards. Alright, opponent just passes it back. So now it's scary to plus Liliana. Okay, that's perfect, actually. So we can Thoughtseize them, take their Prize Amalgam, and see if the other card is scary. Oh, whoa. Weird that they didn't just pass that. Actually, no, that makes sense. So I'll just take one and plus Liliana to take out the other. Pitching Assassin's Trophy. And I actually think I'm just going to escape Uro just to draw a card. And gain some life. So we'll exile land. Come on, Scavenging Ooze. Okay, another Lily. Not too good. Pass the turn back. Now, I guess this is a bit... They can use Conflagrate. So if they draw a Dredger, they can get into the graveyard now. Because they can just discard it to the Conflagrate. But they could have done that no matter what. So I don't... Like, our line last turn didn't increase their ability to do that. If they did finally draw... Oh, they can also... They're just casting Ox of Agonis, it looks like. So we'll Drown into Lock that. Oh, wait a second. I forgot that they would have 8 fewer cards in their graveyard. So actually we can't Drown into Lock this. Alright, so this just resolves then. That's bad. So they discard their card. Oh, another Ox. And now they have 3 new cards in their hand. We're still super live if we draw that freaking Scavenging Ooze that is so elusive. So we crack that. We can counter a Cathartic Reunion. They did have to exile a couple Prize Amalgams, which is good. Okay, that is worth countering. Bye-bye, Shriekhorn. So they have 1 card left in their hand. It could be a Dredger. They also might just attack Liliana for 1 with a Stinkweed Imp. Alright, so Scavenging Ooze. I think I'm just going to escape Uro again. Obviously not the most impressive Uros ever, but we just need to find Scavenging Ooze. That's really what it comes down to. So take out a couple of these sorceries. A bad instant. Actually, both these instants are not great. And then I'll take out 1 creature, because they're likely to have creatures. Alright, Scavenging Ooze. Let's see it. Still not too late. Bummer. Okay, do we plus the Lily and give them a Dredger? I think the answer is yes, even though it could go poorly. Discard Inquisition. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, that doesn't do... Yeah, that doesn't do anything. It just goes here. I mean, they can cast it now, I guess. We'll discard our Inquisition, and now Liliana is threatening to ultimate, but that's not great against them. So we will pass the turn. It's pretty sad that we've gone through 32 cards with no Scavenging Ooze. And I think we are going to lose, even though we've managed to keep our opponent off of doing anything for a very long time. But we can't do it forever. Oh, they just cast an Ox. Okay. Well, they get to draw 3 cards. We'll see what they hit. Their board is also just pretty scary now, even if we do draw Scavenging Ooze. I think we will still win, but it's not as much of a sure thing anymore. So that happens. We draw Scavenging Ooze. Yes! Finally! Oh, that is a sight for sore eyes. Okay, plus Lily. Discard Swamp. Attack with Uro. Sure, I'll put that into play. Alright, that's awesome. We finally found it. So they'll block with a Thug. Oh, they block with... There's double blocking with Oxen. Oh, okay, like that. Sure. So they get to kill our Uro. They put a creature on top of their library. So I guess they'll just put an Ox on top. I mean, we could have played Screws first to prevent this, but I think this is actually okay. I wanted to minimize the information that they had when we do this. So now we cast our Ooze. Exile Imp. This also gains life and just makes a huge threat. Yeah, this is going just fine now. Alright! Took down Dredge in game 1. That is a hard thing to do, but we managed to pull it off. Also, I mean, they didn't do much, so that helped too, obviously. So bring in those, bring in these. 5 pieces of Graveyard Hate. Lilianas are quite bad. Trophy is also weak. Fatal Push is also pretty weak. I mean, we could bring in Board Sweepers or Aether Gusts, but especially on the draw, that's not very impressive. I definitely like all these creatures. Yeah, it's really a question of Fatal Push versus these other things. I think I would slightly prefer Aether Gust over Pushes. I just think Fatal Push is a really weak card in the matchup. And then we'll play 1 Board Sweeper. Do like that. Basically, just killing things is not good. We want counterspells, discard, and then our own threats and Graveyard Hate. And yeah, this seems good. We'll run it back. That was intense, but we got there. Hopefully we can find a Spell Bomb or something like that in the opener. Alright, we have Ashiok, so we'll keep. Also, Thought Scour can make our Goyf big, and oh, okay. Well, that shuts down some of our things, but I still think if neither player has a graveyard, we win. Okay, they play a Shriekhorn. I mean, yeah, they could definitely just kill us before Ashiok is relevant. I'm just gonna play Island and Thought Scour myself. And yeah, the cards get milled, but still better than milling them. Hopefully they don't hit a Dredger in their top 4. Okay, they get an Archamoeba into play. I don't care too much about that. Although I guess my threats are pretty terrible. So if they're playing Leylons, we actually probably should bring in another Ox. Wow, okay. We should bring in Assassin's Trophy over some of these marginal cards. So they shock. Please don't have Cathartic Reunion. Oh, they have Life from the Loam for Blood Crypt. Alright. So hit us for 1. That's okay. They can start dredging 3, but Ashiok can still maybe keep up with this. Alright, hit some medium stuff. So I'm just going to fetch a black-green land with this. I mean, we could just hold up Drowning the Lock, but I think I'd rather just get a Goyf down. Yeah, this seems a bit better. Right? I mean, countering Life from the Loam is just not that impressive. Obviously, after Ashiok's ability, Goyf will be a 0/0, but I think that's okay. Alright, so big turn here. Hopefully they can't get back that Prized Amalgam. They don't have quite enough cards to escape Ox yet. Okay, well they can get 3 lands into their hand with Life from the Loam, but then if we take out Amalgam and 3 Oxen, that really weakens the power of their deck. So they just loam these back, and then that's fine. So they don't have a way to put cards in the graveyard that we know about. Attack for 1, yep. So we will hit them back for 2. Not particularly impressive, but I'm not worried about racing. We have Uros for life gain. Although I guess we also don't have a way to, like, actually deal damage, but we'll figure that out. First, step 1 against Dredge is always killing their graveyard. They should have fetched in response there. Now their Wooded Foothills is a brick. Wow, we hit a bunch of lands, including Blast Zone, which can kill Ashiok, so that's something. We can Drown in the Lock this Narcomoeba just to keep our Ashiok around. Okay, that's not going to work out well for you, opponent. I mean, they might still need to do that just to cast Life from the Loam to get it into the graveyard, but that will not work well. So, yeah, I would have liked to have hit stuff other than just lands with that Ashiok activation, but, I mean, we have an Ashiok, can't really complain. In terms of threats to actually win the game, we have very few. Uro doesn't do it, Goyf doesn't do it. I mean, we could Jace Ultimate, I guess. That's not the best plan, but it's something. Okay, so they hit Ashiok for 1, yep. Aether Gust is a pretty good one, I think. So we can attack. Oh, this is awkward. We actually can't Aether Gust that. How do we get around this, actually? Yeah, this is pretty awkward. We can't actually keep our Ashiok around. Aether Gust doesn't hit anything. Drown in the Lock is uncastable. Wow, that's super awkward. So we just have to cast Uro and hope to draw something. Yeah, that was an unfortunate string of events. The fact that we can't cast either of these Drown in the Locks is very awkward. So they hit Ashiok down to 1. Man, Leyline of the Void is putting in work. Ashiok falls to 1, yep. I think we're just fetching a breeding pool with this Polluted Delta. I mean, Creeping Tar Pit is a bit of a clock, but once they kill this Ashiok, they can sort of start going off. Again, it's a real bummer that this Ashiok didn't hit like a couple of their key cards. Hopefully they just cast a Creeping Chill. Oh, dang it. Okay, so we'll fetch for something. We need a card to go to their graveyard. Hopefully we draw like a Thoughtseize or something. Thoughtseize. That's bad. That's really bad. I guess we just attack for 1, use Ashiok, or we'll start with like casting Uro, I guess, in case we draw something. Although I can't even think of what we would draw, because if we draw Thoughtseize, we don't have mana for Drown in the Lock anymore. Another Tar Pit, okay. So we'll attack for 1. Cast a second Goyf. And I'm just going to use Ashiok now just to take 4 cards out of their library. So this does not work, I believe, right? Okay, good. So yeah, there we hit Bloodghast and Narcomoeba. Happy to get those gone. And now with double Tar Pit, we could maybe race, although we haven't hit any Creeping Chills. They also could not have any enablers. Oh, they're just... Okay, if they're tapping for blue, that's probably a good sign. Are they just casting a Prize Amalgam or something? Or Narcomoeba? Sure. So we can definitely race that. So they attack with just this Narcomoeba. We animate Colin, or Tar Pit. It's awkward that they're at 13 instead of 12, but they might have to use this land again. I'm actually okay with drawing more lands here. I don't think I want to cast Thoughtseize. I think I'd rather hold up Aether Gust. So we will animate a Tar Pit, hit for 3. If they have Lightning Axe, I guess we do just... Well, actually, no. We could drown in the lock a Lightning Axe. All right, they're down to 9. We're winning the race right now, but we really don't have much going on. If these drown in the lock... We have 2 drown in the locks. If these 2 drown in the locks were both Assassin's Trophies, we would have won this game so easily. Okay, their fetch lands are finally turned on. They're on a 3-turn clock now. I don't know what... Oh, they failed to find. That's funny. So, yeah, Mountain, Stomping Ground, and Stomping Ground are all gone. They have 2 Blood Crypts in play. So I'm just going to... Yeah, I am just going to Aether Gust that. The fact that it doesn't go to the graveyard is actually awesome. They put it on the bottom. Interesting. Do they have a second one? Or are they just casting a Prize Amalgam? Or another Narcomoeba? Sure. So they attack for 2. Yep, we take it. So they're dead in a couple turns. We draw Uro. Not going to cast that here. I'd rather just hit. So we'll do this and then hold up Drown in the Lock, which can hit not much, but it can hit. It can hit Cathartic Reunion because the cards will be discarded before, before the spell resolves, so we can Drown in the Lock in between. So Creeping Chill is the card we want to dodge. But at this point, we could even beat them putting a bunch of creatures on the battlefield, I think. Okay, there's the Cathartic Reunion, so we Drown in the Lock that. Now, they can start dredging, but it might be too late. They have no cards in hand. We can also Drown in the Lock their Stinkweed Imp if they attack too. Okay, yeah, now we can just win. That was not a very good attack by our opponent. We can just kill the Stinkweed Imp and kill them now. So black, green, black, blue, Drown in the Lock, kill your Stinkweed Imp. All right, took down Dredge 2-0. Really good start. So we're 4-0. That would be awesome if I could pull off the trophy in my first league with this deck. So join me for round 5. Hopefully we can finish off strong. Alrighty, here we are for round 5 against Dio Dice. And we've ended our run of losing the die roll. We will get to be on the play this time. And we have a good hand, so we'll keep. A bit land light, but we have Thoughtscour with Uro, which is nice. So we'll fetch Breeding Pool and Thoughtscour ourselves probably here. There's a world where we Fatal Push, but I think that's unlikely. Windswept Heath, okay. Well, that probably means that Fatal Push will be good. Elvish Reclaimer. Interesting. Okay. So, now we have a couple options. I think we're still just going to Thoughtscour ourselves. We could just fetch a tap land, untap, and go for Fatal Push plus Thoughtscour. But there's a lot of cards that we could draw that would change that. And I think I just want to use the mana here, especially since we're a bit mana constrained. So we'll Breeding Pool. It's a bit awkward to have a Swamp with Uro in hand, but whatever. Okay, we drew a land, which is nice. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get the Goyf down. I'll just play Swamp Goyf. The fact that we hit a Planeswalker and a creature does mean this is a pretty big Tarmogoyf for turn 2. Next turn we can go push plus second Goyf. Okay, so they get some value with that, but I don't think that's too relevant. So, play land, shock. We already have instant and creature, so killing this pre-combat doesn't do anything. So they can sack this and get another land, but that's fine. I mean, yeah, you get to ramp a land, sure, but we're beating down still. So this happens. We will cast our Goyf and pass the turn. And they'll probably sack this, and then we'll fatal push this in our own end step before they untap. The reason I want them to resolve this ability first because I don't want it to change what they get. They might go like really prioritize getting another flagstones, but then what they don't know is they won't get to keep this. So they get a plains. Hopefully they just get another temple garden instead of a snazzy land. Okay, just basic plains. Interesting. And then they grab another flagstones. These Goyfs are a fast clock. I'm not used to playing with decks that have this fast of a clock. Especially decks that have this fast of a clock, but then can also just go for the long game. To make this deck cool. Okay, we will just fatal push this here. So they gain 2 life, they go to 15, but luckily we're dealing 16, so they're still on a 2-turn clock right now. They'll likely interact with it in some way, but we also have double Uro, so we have grinding capabilities as well. There's a forest. What do they have? Hopefully not a board sweeper. Okay, just main phase Coco, sure. We'll see what they hit. If we draw a land, we can go Uro plus Fatal Push on a 3-drop, which would be pretty nice. If they're playing Reclaimer, they're almost definitely playing stuff like, okay, there's a Tireless Tracker and a Dryad. So they can play another land now and get their tracker value. So Jiri's Step. Okay. So big draw here. We need in 2 draws we need to hit a land. I mean, we don't need to, but it would be nice to be able to kill this tracker. Although I guess killing the Dryad would make our Goyfs 5 power. Alright, well, we drew the land, so this, we need to, so this can get a green-black, I guess. Although I kind of just want to get another green-blue. So I think I'm just going to crack first. Reading Pool. Uro. So then the question is what we want to kill. I guess we'll start by just attacking. And I think it actually is better to kill the Dryad, because that makes both of the Goyfs lethal attackers. Like, yeah, they can make some clues, but I think that's okay in this situation, because they're, like, under a lot of pressure to kill us. Although, at the same time, this can become a big creature. How much does it matter if they're at 7 versus 5? I think a decent amount. I think I'm just going to kill this. Alright, so we have 2 5/6s, and they're at 5. And our life total is healthy. I don't really know what they're doing. Like, they could do some scary things. Hopefully they don't have many removal spells, but if they have to just double chump block our Tarmogoyfs, that seems okay for us. Alright, there's a Courser. So they can gain a life and put themselves out of 5-power Tarmogoyf range. No land on top is good for us. There's still no sorceries in graveyards. That's sort of funny. Ooh, Selfless Spirit. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I'm sort of regretting not killing the tracker now. Selfless Spirit and Courser are both, like, those are both good against our plan. Oh, whoa. That's an aggressive attack. Wait, now they just die. Oh, no, they don't just die to a removal spell, but... Okay, so I'm gonna... I guess we start by just attacking. Well, let's see. If we draw a Fatal Push, does that change anything? Also, do we need to shrink our Goyfs to do this? So we can exile both of our lands, one of our instants, 2 of our instants, and a creature, and that's fine. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go for Uro first. Oh, whoops. This Uro. So Instant, land, land, other instant creature. I'd love to draw like a Thoughtseize or something. Although I guess they have a lot of potential card draw with this. Okay. Attack with both. They block both and sack the Selfless Spirit. And now we do have 3 attackers that are all almost lethal, but they're not quite lethal because they can gain more life. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, this could go south. But we do have an Uro in play. There's a Vesuva, so they can gain a lot of life. This is probably a Field of the Dead deck. So they play another Courser, so they have a lot of life gain. Okay, officially really regret killing the Dryad over the Tireless Tracker now. The 2 damage ended up not mattering because they just have a lot of life gain. Which we didn't know about at the time, but it is how it's been going. So presumably copying Radiant Fountain here. Which would put them up to 10 life. Okay, Ghost Quarter, interesting. Well, they haven't. So here now we actually do get some value. They could have played this land as well if they had the Dryad. So hard to say. Hopefully they don't have a path. We're not going to crack this because if we draw Fatal Push, we want to be able to use it well. Interesting. Okay. I mean, yeah, they're making a ton of clues. That could be bad for us. Another Collected Company on top is bad for us. If I draw a Thought Scour here, I would very strongly consider just using it on them. Although, actually, no, they can just crack a clue. Another Tracker. Okay, well, they have to block a lot of our things. Like, chump block a lot of our things. Hopefully we just draw, like, double Fatal Push. Okay, that's sort of that. Well, we're going to start by attacking with everything. Draw a card with Uro. Drown in the Lock. So we can kill 2 things now? Yeah, I think we should just do that. Kill both of their trackers, and then they have to double chump. Yeah, I think that's worth it. So, kill a tracker. Also, they have to shuffle away the Collected Company. I mean, they don't have to, but if they want to get the land, they do. They do have a bunch of clues already, but they only have 1 card, and they don't have a ton of mana. Okay, they do shuffle. They gain some life. So actually, they don't have to double chump. These are 5/6s, so they could just chump Uro and take 10, go to 2, but that seems like a pretty dicey proposition. Their top card's also bad now, we know. Although it is a 3/4, so that's cool. Interesting. They are going for that. All right, so they're falling down to 2 life. We'll just pass the turn. So they draw the Reclaimer. There's a Ramanap. So they can crack a clue and then replay Ghost Quarter or something from their graveyard. Scavenging Ooze would be a phenomenal draw. So they do crack the clue to draw the Ramanap. There's a Selfless Spirit on top. But still, they have 3 lethal attackers, and they can't gain enough life this turn to make one of them not lethal. Even if they do get another Radiant Fountain somehow, that only gains 3, so they're still dead to a 5-power hit. Are toothpicks good for you? I just play with them a lot because it's fun. And, like, you can scratch off your teeth, and I feel like that could maybe get plaque off or something, but I don't know if that's actually a thing. Okay, so they draw the Selfless Spirit. That won't do it. I guess they could just play Reclaimer Selfless Spirit and have 3 guys. And then if we don't draw a removal spell, they can... I guess that's actually decent, because they can only lose 1 creature. But we are still drawing 2 cards a turn with Uro. There's a Selfless Spirit. Hopefully we draw a removal spell. Liliana, Jace, removal spell, Snapcaster. Those will all just win us the game. We have 2 draws also. There's a Snapcaster. So that should do it. Snapcaster Fatal Push. Kill your Selfless Spirit. Have 3 attackers. GG. Doesn't matter which one we kill, as long as we don't kill the Courser without Revolt. Alright, 1-0. We're 1 game away from a trophy. Hopefully we can finish it off strong. So we're playing against like green, white, cocoa, land stuff. What cards are we considering? They have some graveyard synergies. They have a lot of creatures. Honestly, all of these cards are fine. But a lot of the cards in our main deck are also good, so I'm not really... We can't just cut all of these. Let's see. They're likely to have Veil of Summer, so that's something to be aware of. Fulminator's probably not necessary. We haven't seen Field of the Dead yet. If we did see that, then we might want to bring this in, but it's bad against Veil, and like they have ramp and stuff, so I feel like that's not great. Aether Gust is definitely good. These are, like, we're on the draw. They have a lot of small creatures. Although it's still, no, we probably do want lilies. They have some graveyard synergies and a lot of things that search, so I kind of do want these. Man, I really have no idea what to cut, though. Goyfs seem quite good. They just outclass all of their things. I do want the Uros. Maybe we cut the Jaces just because they're a bit expensive. And trophies because giving them lands is sort of bad. And then bring in 1 Ashiok. Would I rather Nile Spellbomb? What graveyard things have they seen, though? We haven't seen that many. I guess they could have Rest. No, they probably don't have Rest in Peace. Yeah, I think we're just going to run it like this. Keeping in the discard, I could imagine an argument for cutting it, especially if we're worried about Veil, but I do think it's pretty nice, and we can hopefully set up a situation where we can play around Veil. Alright, this hand is great. Fetch Overgrown Tomb on turn 1. If they don't play anything on turn 1, and they just play like green land and pass, I don't think I'm just going to play into Veil. Okay, they're not doing that. They have a Vial. I'm not really expecting Vial out of this deck. So, fetch Overgrown Tomb. Drown in the Loch was a fairly weak draw. We want lands at this point, but it's fine. Overgrown Tomb and Inquisition. Wow. That is a truly terrible hand. So we can just take that, and now we can just play Goyf and try and beat down. I think that's going to be our game plan here. Yeah, I'm very surprised they kept that against a deck that has a bunch of removal and discard. Windswept Heath, pass. Alright. So we'll just get the Goyf down, start beating. And we can Thought Scour, so this will be at least 4 power. Our best draw would probably just be another Goyf at this point. I mean, they can use Blast Zone to kill our Goyfs, I guess, but then, yeah, they'll probably just play Blast Zone and put a counter on it here. Oh, they do not. Interesting. And that's a card we didn't know about. So they have these 3 cards, and then 1 unknown. They grab a basic force. So they likely do have Field of the Dead. There's a Courser, so we can Drown in the Loch that. Actually, that's awesome. That just makes our thing way bigger. They're drawing Vesuva too, which is brick, so we will kill their Courser. Actually, I guess we should probably just Thought Scour ourselves first, although I think we're like 95% to be killing the Courser. Yep, doing that. Black, blue, Drown in the Loch. Hit for 5. They're drawing a brick. Their hand is all bricks. I mean, they do have the Blast Zone, so they do have an answer, actually. But we can get Uro into play soon. We need more green mana, but we can hopefully find that in due time. Their next turn is pretty much all wrapped up on killing the Goyf. So we hit 4/5. That's our green source, so we can play Uro next turn. They fall to 8. We cast Uro. Also, Creeping Tar Pit could be a pretty nice threat. Alright, Goyf is also a good one. So we'll pass. And now they go put counters on. They might just play Vesuva as another Blast Zone, as like another possible answer. But the fact that we can play a Goyf plus an Uro gives us threats of different mana costs. Also, keep in mind throughout all this, like, it's not like we're sort of shooting our shot, and if they can fend off our early aggression, they just win. Like, we still have this Uro that we can recur. We have a removal spell. We have a discard spell. So we really have a lot going on. Alright, they just play Flagstones. Do we just crack this for green? We're like 90. We just know we're going to be playing Uro next turn, so I think we are going to just do this. And I'm just going to grab... Obviously, we want green. I think Triumph we might want to sacrifice at this point, so I'll just grab a Breeding Pool. Alright, so start by hitting. They'll almost definitely crack their Blast Zone. I guess if they have like a Flicker Wisp or something, they could flicker our Tarmogoyf, but that seems weird. I don't think that'll happen. Alright, so they kill this. Now we escape Uro. Blue, green, blue, green, and then hopefully we can draw another green source so we can play Goyf as well. If we don't, then we'll probably just Thoughtseize them. So they have plenty of lands, so we can take out our own lands. We can take out our Thought Scours. There's only one sorcery. Yeah, we can just take out this Tarmogoyf. Sure. So Greenland is sort of what we want. Okay. Yeah, I'll just put this into play, tapped, and Thoughtseize you. They could have Veil of Summer here. If they do, they do. Okay, they just have bricks. So they're dead next turn to our Creeping Tar Pit, unless they top deck something this turn. And we can deal with a creature like a blocker as well. Although I guess we don't have Revolt right now, so we can't... Oh, they just drew Field of the Dead, so they're just dead on board. Alright. Black, blue, green, and make Creeping Tar Pit, and hit for 9, and secure the trophy. So this deck is undefeated. Seems like it could never lose a match. I think that's my official diagnosis. Man, I'm really happy about that. Alright. Put this into play. We even have Liliana. Boom! Got there. Alright. I'll see you soon in the deck recap. Alright, so this is the deck. It got a trophy, so that's pretty sweet. It was my first ever league with it. And it really just felt very smooth overall. There was no cards that were consistently underperforming. We won the first match with Jace. We won a couple matches with Uro. Goyf was just doing Goyf things. Scavenger Goose overperformed. That's one card that I would say was very, very good. It was important against, like, there was a lot of decks with, like, Mystic Sanctuary or, like, you know, just various graveyard shenanigans. Obviously, against Dredge, it's your best card. So I kind of like the idea of trying to squeeze in a third Scavenging Ooze, but all the cards felt pretty good. Maybe we could go down to 2 Liliana of the Veil. That wasn't like a huge part of the game plan. We just didn't draw it that much. So maybe if we had drawn it a bunch, it would have been great. But I could imagine wanting to add a third Ooze over the Liliana, or maybe going down to 1 Jace. But at the same time, like, if we just played against a bunch of really controlling decks, we would want the Planeswalkers. As for the sideboard, we never played against Tron or, like, Artifact decks, so we didn't bring in the Ceremonious Rejection. But the other cards were all pretty good. I think we probably don't need 2 board sweepers. I underestimated how much, like, these creatures would sort of dominate the board well, so I think I might want to cut one of these for, like, I don't know, 1 more Spell Bomb, maybe. It did seem like having Graveyard Hate was good. I guess we could, yeah, cut this for Spell Bomb and then rely on that and just keep the main deck as is, maybe. The Triome, it was never, like, essential that we had it to fetch for, but we did cycle it once, and it was nice to be able to cycle that game. And there was never a time when it hurt us. These lands were good. I kind of want to add a third, so I could imagine maybe cutting the 9th fetch land for one of those, but at the same time, fetches are good with Uro, so maybe we are just supposed to cut a Triumph for another one of these lands. I did like having 2 of each shock land. We have double black, double blue, and double green, and like there's times where you just want infinite green for Scavenging Ooze, so I think that is worth it. But overall, yeah, the deck felt awesome. There's no major changes I would make. I need to test a little bit more before I find the weaknesses, but really fun to get a trophy in the first league. So thank you for joining. I had a lot of fun, and definitely let me know what sort of decks you'd like to see, if there was any misplays or cards I should be playing, and also please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really makes a big difference. Yeah.